Welcome back to Contemporary Black Voices, where our topic today is about Larry Hoover and the consequences or the controversy behind his commutation. So, Caleb, you said you had a lot to say.
I
So I'm just
do.
going to sit back here and let you just have the entire 8 minutes.
You're gonna let me put my foot in it? Okay.
Uh-huh.
So I mean, at first, when we broached the subject, I was like, oh, I'm not touching that. That's what I was thinking. I don't want to touch that. But then after I thought about it, I said, nah, I will touch it. And this is imagine this. Imagine if in 1945 Hitler was captured and they locked him in a prison, and then 1970 somebody comes along and says, "Oh, he's old. Let him out." You know what I mean? So my thing is, old age does not mitigate what you've done. You know what I mean? So all of the death and destruction that you have caused, old age doesn't wipe that away.
True.
And so this man, while he was out, he founded one of the largest, most violent gangs in the country, in the history of this country, Gangster Disciples. It's been a reign of terror since their founding. They're responsible for thousands and thousands of deaths. While he was in prison running this organization, he sanctioned thousands and thousands of deaths. For over 27 years while he was in prison running the organization, this man sanctioned the murder and kidnapping of thousands and thousands of people. Larry Hoover is a mass murderer. I can't put it any more plain or simple than that. 50 years is a long time, but does he deserve 50 years? Hold on. Now, and I say this, on behalf of the thousands of people, thousands of families who've been broken by the loss of a loved one. He can get commuted, but their loved one can't come back.
That's right.
You understand what I'm saying? So when you ask me how I feel about Larry Hoover's commutation, Larry Hoover should have died in prison. Unless he can bring all those people back, Larry Hoover should have died in prison. And
let me ask you a question real quick. Given the psychosis of this administration, given the crime element associated with Larry Hoover, do you think that going back to the administration that they put him out there to continue his reign of terror until he dies?
Well, I think it was an outreach. It was a very cynical outreach to young black men. And it's cynical.
I'm talking about Larry Hoover.
Larry Hoover, right. And so it's just the idea. I mean, it really psychologically examining this, breaking this down. He's become a cultural icon.
Okay.
Kanye West. Rick Ross throws out his name in every other damn song, right?
Drake.
He has a whole song about Larry Hoover. Rick Ross does. So probably 2 or 3 songs about Larry Hoover. But it's just, it's who do we celebrate as a community? Why are we celebrating somebody who's responsible for the deaths of thousands of black men or thousands of black women, right? How did this person become someone to be celebrated? How did this person become a cultural icon, right? And so it's who we choose to make a hero out of. And the fact that these folks know this speaks value. Oh, I'm going to give them somebody who they worship. What does that say about us? What does that say about their perception of us? You know what I mean? As a people, we have to get it together. This man should not be a hero. This man is a mass murderer of black people.
Preach, brother.
You know what I'm saying? So that's my...
And that's all I wanted to say was that I agree with you 1,000% of everything that you have said about this. We have got to get to, we've come through as black people to where we did not trust the police, so nobody wanted to be a snitch. But we've got to get to the point to where we say we will police our own, okay? And doing this right now, the way it seems to be done, is that we can't police our own. We're not allowing, and in the underbelly of the society, of the black society, those people like you're talking about who's made rap records and so forth about this guy to almost honor this guy and what he's done. And we've got to put a cut to that. We've got to stop all of that. We've got to decide what we're going to be and who we're going to be as we go forward.
Exactly. 100%. You're on point. 100%. I agree.
So, as we sit back and look at this story, what type of influence do you suspect he will have in the community now that he's been released? Do you think that people are going to have a parade, going to have the barbecue celebrating him? Has there been any really thought as to who this man is, the damage that he has done to the community? Is he going to come out and continue that reign of terror now that he's released?
But there's two communities. There's the community that he belongs to, and there's the community of the rest of us. The community that he belongs to, yeah, they're going to have the barbecues and all that type of stuff. Welcome Black, he's back, you know, whatever. They're going to have that, okay? But the question, the fight really becomes is who controls the community? Is it going to be the Larry Hoovers? Or is it going to be people like us who say
No more.
voting is important? You're not going to sell drugs in our neighborhood anymore. And unfortunately, there's going to be any killing. It's going to be who we want to have killed and not just you for personal financial gain that you're killing that person.
Now, Hoover got a commuted sentence. YoungBoy got pardoned, but I don't think it matters because now that Hoover, if he is still influential, he's going to he may be able to influence again. And I'm sorry, black guys, I'm going to put it out there. His influence on the black man and who he votes for in upcoming elections or not vote for. And what I mean by not vote for, I mean you just sit down and not vote.
Right.
You know, because it will be very easy for Hoover to say, go ahead and vote for that person again,
Right.
because he let me out.
Right. And so the gangster disciples vote.
Okay, and that's what I was going to say. The first thing for me is the way he can be a positive for the community, period, is to say all of these young gangbangers go and register, and this is who you're going to vote for. If he even did that, I'd have more respect for him than just sitting back and being on the outside. You got to become part of society. We live in a society where voting, I think, matters. Yeah. And you have to do those things. And those people who live outside of that, to me, a no vote is almost like a yes vote for the man who doesn't want to, who you don't want.
And with that being said, we're going to come right back.
Sorry.